Right now at 6, give yourself some extra time. You'll want to leave for work or school early today. It is a snowy, messy Halloween. We have team coverage on how the snow will affect your commute.
And Hattie's continuing to update the radar on when we're going to see the worst of it ahead of your trick-or-treating plans. That's straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for waking up with us on your Thursday, October 31st. I'm Leah Linscheid.
And I'm Josh Breiter. Happy Halloween, everyone. Meteorologist Hattie McClain has been giving us the first alert on this all week, and it came in overnight, Hattie.
Yeah, we expected the snow to start late last night, and it certainly did. It's been snowing all night across southern Wisconsin. You are waking up to a fresh 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground. Let's see if we can get those weather graphics up for you. It is an alert day today for southern Wisconsin. Total snow 1 to 5 inches. Again, we have about 2.5 to 3 inches on the ground here in Madison just from overnight. Another maybe inch on the way. Highest amounts will be south and east of Madison. Now look at the winter weather advisories that are in effect. It does include Madison and Dane County until noon. Rock County, that winter weather advisory goes until 3 p.m. as well as the rest of southeastern Wisconsin. Here's a look at the radar map. Pretty much everyone is seeing some snow right now. The back edge of the snow is working its way through eastern Iowa. That snow is lifting from the southwest to the northeast, though, through the area. So we do have several hours yet before the snow comes to an end. Take a look at your snow chances this morning. Pretty high. Snow is likely. You're going to have to clean off the car a little bit before you hit the roads. Snow continues through the morning, but as we put this graph into motion, you see by 6 o'clock this evening, the snow basically coming to an end. So the snow is done. No snow falling during those trick-or-treat hours. Here's a look at that Halloween forecast. We have temperatures, though, that will be cold. Skies are expected to clear. Temperatures will be dropping into the 20s. So bundle those kids up this morning. Let's get a look at your traffic maps early today. We'll show you what's happening on area roads. No major delays on the Beltline right now, but roads are slippery. I slid around the corner in my neighborhood on the way to work this morning. You can see some slowdowns on Highway 14 in between Evansville and Madison. So just plan some extra time to get to your destination this morning. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right. Thank you very much, Hattie. To get a better look at those road conditions this morning, we're going to send it over to Christina Laurie. How's it looking now?
Hi, Josh and Leah. The snow might look pretty outside your window as you're waking up this morning, but out on the roads, they are slick, they are slippery, they are snow covered. Please slow down. Leave extra time on your drive to work. We want to give you a live look at what we're seeing. We're heading westbound on University Avenue. We found that this stretch of road in between Midvale and up towards Whitney Way is especially slick. There are many hills in this area, so that's posing some challenges. There are 32 plows that have been out on the roads from the Streets Division all night trying to salt and clear them, but unfortunately, that's not making much a difference on this road in particular. We want to show you now what we're seeing on the 511 map. You can see the pink stretches are slippery roads and the blue areas are completely snow covered. I know I-90 heading towards Janesville is getting pretty bad right now. But we will be out here driving around all throughout the 6 o'clock hour of our show, showing you what you can expect as you head into work this morning. But please just leave some extra time. Trust us, the roads are very slick this morning. Back to you.
Christina, thank you. Following breaking news this morning, South Korea's military says North Korea has fired at least one projectile toward its eastern sea. No word yet on what type of missile it was or how far it flew. This launch comes after North Korean leadership said they weren't happy with how slowly nuclear negotiations with the U.S. are going and demands that President Trump ease sanctions and pressure on Pyongyang. Earlier this month, North Korea test fired an underwater launched ballistic missile for the first time in 3 years.
More local news now. A gun stolen from a shop in Baraboo is still missing this morning. 2 people are facing charges in that theft, and while police work to find the gun, they're also trying to make sure this doesn't happen again. A Baraboo police officer came up with an idea for an ordinance that's one of the first of its kind. It requires gun shops to have security cameras and keep the footage for 90 days. The owner of Jim's Gun Shop says he's installing cameras now.
I think the ordinance is actually a smart idea. I feel I'm at fault that I didn't have this new system. I should have had something like this. My old cameras, old technology, when it blew up through a lightning storm, I just never replaced it. Should have.
Wisconsin Carry, a gun rights group, is looking at filing a lawsuit against Baraboo because of this ordinance. Their case is based on a state law that says municipalities cannot regulate the sale of firearms.
We now know the names of the officers on paid administrative leave this morning after a fatal officer-involved shooting on Madison's west side. They are Sergeant Ryan Gibson, who has 18 years with the Madison Police Department, Officer Sonny Martinez with 11 years in the department, and Officer Justin Nelson, who has 5 years of service. We still aren't being told which officer or officers fired their weapon. 63-year-old Dean Thomas was killed in the shooting on Sunday night. Madison police say he was shooting at officers.
The Madison School District wants your help as they pick a new superintendent. Right now, they're accepting feedback from parents who are sharing what qualities they feel are important for the new district leader to have. A school board member we spoke with says they'll come up with a list from that public input and then interview the candidates to see who's the best match. The board brought in a consultant to help with the process to get an outside perspective on how the district can improve.
We'd be able to have a consultant come in and, in a way that wasn't caught up in any of the current patterns of the district, help us better see where we need new strengths, where we can build on existing strengths, and find a person who can do that for us.
The goal is to hire a new superintendent by January or February. You can fill out a survey at mmsd.org/superintendent search right now to share your input.
The man who kidnapped Jamie Kloss and killed her parents is finding himself in trouble in prison. Corrections Department records in New Mexico show 2 inmates approached Jake Patterson in late August and told him to leave their pod because of what he did to Kloss. Patterson allegedly punched one of them, triggering a fight. You'll remember Patterson was moved from Wisconsin to New Mexico for safety reasons earlier this year. The records show the company that transported Patterson had to drive straight through because no other state would assume responsibility for him, even briefly, while the transport team rested.
The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time.
Pretty exciting and breaking overnight. For the first time in franchise history, the Washington Nationals are World Series champions. They beat the Houston Astros in Game 7 of the World Series 6-2. They rallied late in that game, scoring all 6 of their runs in the final 3 innings to shock the Houston crowd. Nationals pitcher Steven Strasburg was named the World Series MVP.
Looking ahead, Wisconsin lawmakers are preparing a bill to let college athletes hire agents and make money off their names. It would start in 2023. The bill is similar to California's Fair Pay to Play Act, signed into law last month. You'll remember UW's athletic director Barry Alvarez said UW-Madison wouldn't play against California teams, citing his concerns about the act. For athletes in Wisconsin, it would make it illegal for state universities like their UW to revoke an athlete's scholarship or eligibility to take money through endorsements, autograph signings, or social media ads.
All right, 6:08 on your Thursday. The story of the morning is the weather. And with Halloween trick-or-treating ahead tonight, we're sharing concerns from police on keeping your kids safe along the streets in the snow this evening.
And Hattie says we've seen a couple of inches of snow already at the station, but it's not over yet. She's going to show you what the impact is for your Halloween plans when News 3 Now This Morning continues its team coverage next.
This portion
Good morning from the patio. It looks like a winter wonderland, and it's just the last day of October. We have snow continuing to fall, about 2.5 to 3 inches already here on the patio. A little tough to measure because it's very slushy on the bottom. That snow probably melted just a little bit as it started yesterday evening. But an alert day continues for the area today. The snow is going to wind down by midday, which is great news, but it's still going to be very cold for trick-or-treaters. And as temperatures drop, might be a little slippery on the sidewalks later on this evening. Now this morning we have winter weather advisories that are in effect for many counties in our area. For Dane County and Madison, that winter weather advisory goes until noon today. That's also the case for Lafayette and Greene counties. Rock County, you're under that winter weather advisory until 3, along with the rest of southwestern Wisconsin. Again, total snow is expected to be highest south and east of Madison, where you could see some 4 to 5 inch totals coming out of this storm system. For most of the area, though, it's going to be 1 to 4 inches, and we'll be right in there here in Madison, having already gotten almost 3 inches of snow. Doppler track shows you that the snow continues for southern Wisconsin, and in some areas it is a little heavier. In between Platteville and Monroe, you may be seeing some heavier snow right now. Also along the interstate in between Madison and Milwaukee, some bands of some pretty heavy snow at this hour. Now, the back edge of the snow is in eastern Iowa. This storm system is tracking well to our east and will eventually move far enough away from us today that the snow will come to an end. Probability of precipitation winds down pretty quickly through the afternoon hours, and you see by 5 o'clock, pretty dry across southern Wisconsin. So at least we're not dealing with snow falling during the trick-or-treat hours this evening. But the result of this snow for trick-or-treating will be a very cold evening, one of the coldest Halloweens in recent years. As temperatures drop back into the 20s, any little bit of a wind from the west is going to send those wind chills down into the teens this evening. Now, here's a look at our current conditions. We do have a wind chill this morning. It's 27 here in Madison, but a northwesterly wind at 13 miles an hour is making it feel like it's only 16 degrees outside this morning. Temperatures elsewhere across southern Wisconsin are in the 20s, but wind chills are a little bit lower. That northwesterly wind around 10 to 15 miles an hour right now, so it feels like it's in the teens in most spots. Bundle up as you head outside. Your future track forecast model shows you the snow gradually winding down from northwest to southeast. By lunchtime, west of Madison, you should be dry, and then the snow quickly pulls out this afternoon for the remainder of the area. Skies will actually start to clear by 4 p.m. Now, here's a look at your extended forecast. With this snow on the ground, it's going to be quite chilly. Temperatures will be dropping into the low 20s tonight, and we're topping only in the 30s on Friday and Saturday. Generally a little bit quieter weather for a couple of days, but overall the weather pattern stays cold and active into next week. Now it's time to look at those traffic maps this morning. We'll send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major issues on the Beltline. Motorists are at or near the posted speed limit on all lanes. Drivers are below the speed limit on Highway 14 between Madison and Oregon. All other routes into Madison are mostly clear. Travel is free and open heading downtown, just slightly crowded on East Wash at Blair. Otherwise, nothing of concern on the Isthmus or campus. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason and Hattie, thank you both very much. It is 6:15 right now. The biggest threat to kids this Halloween isn't getting tainted candy or trick-or-treating at a sex offender's house. It's actually getting hit by a car.
Yeah, kids are actually more than twice as likely to get hit by a car on Halloween. That's according to the National Safety Council. They attribute that to a couple of things, including the fact that it gets darker earlier this time of year and that many costumes have darker colors. Traffic safety experts with the Madison Police Department say drivers should turn on their headlights early to make sure they can see anyone trying to cross the street.
All it takes is a couple seconds for a kid to run in between some parked cars who is really excited about getting to the next house. So we do see a lot of kids that have that tunnel vision, and they have their eyes on that prize, their eyes on that candy. So as they get through these different streets, we just want everyone to be more aware.
Police say chaperones are extremely important when it comes to making sure kids stay on the sidewalk and out of the road while going house to house. They also say parents should make sure their kids have a flashlight to make sure drivers can see them. Now, a major construction project could make going door to door even more dangerous tonight. East Johnson Street will be closed in both directions starting at 7 this morning. And some parents are concerned about traffic being rerouted to residential streets while the kiddos are going trick-or-treating. A lot of those streets don't have any street lighting either. However, the city may end up having to postpone this part of the project if it ends up snowing too much.
As you get the kids dressed up and ready to head out on this cold and snowy Halloween, we're getting you ready for trick-or-treating later today. Trick-or-treat times vary depending on where you live or where you plan to go, but for the most part, times are between 4 and 8 tonight. We have a list of trick-or-treat times for more than 60 communities across the Madison area. You can find that right now on the Channel 3000 mobile app. But before you do anything with the candy, the Grant County Sheriff's Office has a warning for everyone this morning. Be sure to listen in, folks. They want you to check out the sweet treats to make sure it's safe after meth candy was found in southern Wisconsin. Keep an eye out for candy that looks like this right here on your screen. Police are asking parents to report any suspicious candy you may find. Once your kiddos are done stuffing their bags with all the candy in the world, you can give whatever extra you want to give to those here for Halloween. Meritor is collecting candy at its West Washington clinic during normal business hours this week and also on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Children who donate their candy will get a goodie bag and then will be entered to win the grand prize, a family of 4-pack to the Madison Children's Museum. Your donated candy will be given to service members in a care package.
So speaking of all that candy, if you're not crazy about all of the sugar that's probably going to be laying around your house and you can't make it to one of those drop-offs, our medical expert Dr. Mandira Mehra has some alternatives for Halloween candy. That's straight ahead.
And it's a scary sight out here on the roads this morning, not what you'd typically expect for a Halloween. We want to show you what we're seeing on University Ave here in Madison right now. Slick, slippery, snow-covered conditions. Please leave extra time as you're driving to work. We'll continue driving around and show you what we're seeing out on the roads before you head out the door. We're back in just a few minutes.
6:21 on your Halloween morning. Not looking so Halloween-y out there this morning.
You can barely see the pumpkins.
I know.
Oh, man.
Kind of sad, to be honest. I feel like we've jumped right into winter, and we're dealing with a mess out there this morning, Hattie.
It could be a long winter, yeah,
Yes.
especially when we're starting in October. It is a very snowy start to the day, so let's get you up to date with what you need to know. Winter weather advisories continue for Dane County and all points to the south and east. It's set to expire here in Madison and Dane County at noon. It goes until 3 p.m. for Janesville and Rock County and the rest of southeastern Wisconsin. Here's a look at the radar map. We still have snow falling across the entire area this morning. As you get north of the Dalzell, the snow lets up just a little bit, but light to moderate snow for the rest of southern Wisconsin at this hour. Now, our wind chills, a little bit of a factor. We haven't talked much about wind chill yet this season. It definitely feels cold outside, feeling like 16 in Madison, 19 in Lone Rock. The wind chill is also 16 in Platteville. So as the kids head out the door this morning, they definitely need to bundle up. Snow will continue for the morning hours. It will be letting up from west to east by lunchtime, and then dry conditions as you head home, but barely making it above the freezing point today with high temperatures only in the low to mid 30s. Now look at that Halloween forecast. I know the kids are excited for trick-or-treating tonight. Bundle them up as much as possible. Temperatures will be below freezing through most of the trick-or-treating hours. Skies will actually clear though, so no snow falling this evening. And that's your first alert forecast.
All right, Hattie, thank you. So you probably aren't thrilled with the idea of how much candy your kids are going to be taking home tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of sugar. And to talk about some alternatives on rather than eating it is Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. So I hate having it in the house because I know I'm going to eat it. What can we be doing?
That's the problem. And you know, I talk about on air all these exciting tips that we can do, but the truth is I'll share my knowledge, but not my chocolate. So
that's fair.
You know, as a parent now, I guess this is important, and we really do have some healthy tips out there for parents. First of all, we have to be cognizant of the fact that candy isn't for everyone. You know, we talk about child obesity rates being close to 20% in America. That's astronomical. That's super high. A lot of kids have diabetes, allergies, intolerances to certain foods. So really trying to be comprehensive of everyone and offering alternatives is a great idea. Things that can still be very affordable, like, you know, apples obviously is not fun. You probably won't be the most popular house in the neighborhood, but even things like pads, plastic trinkets, bubbles, little, you know, airplanes, things like that can be really fun toys for kids that may even last longer and probably maybe even healthier alternatives. We often tell parents to get creative and have fun with it. There's also a project called the Teal Pumpkin Project. It's actually a project that is promoting alternatives, especially for kids that may have allergies and can't really partake in trick-or-treating. So if you are providing alternatives, you can have a teal pumpkin, you can register online. There's maps available for parents to look at to see where these things are offered. We also have, you know, general safety tips for parents out there. This is an exciting time of year. It's a very fun holiday, but it is a time of year where some injuries happen. You know, costumes and masks can often obstruct visual type things, and so anytime you can use face paint that doesn't obstruct the vision, make sure that mummy costumes aren't really hanging, making trip or falls risk, that kinds of things, very important. Let kids know the safety of making a plan. So even regarding the candy is before you eat anything, show me all of your candy, and as a parent, really inspecting it, making sure nothing's unwrapped, nothing looks, you know, like it's been tampered with, not really giving home-baked goods unless you really know the person, and just being safe with them and making a plan. So saying, here's the plan for the evening, you will stick with me, you'll be with your friend, your family member, sharing that plan with everyone. Of course, if they're under the age of 12 or 13, making sure there's a parent on board. If they're over that age, really trying to stick to groups and stick to safe hours. Generally, 5:30 to about 9 seems to be common hours. I know you guys mentioned all the hours on the show here. Right. And then with some of the weather we've been having here and across the country, there's alternatives. You know, there's shopping malls and things like that that still partake. It may not be as fun as your neighborhood trick-or-treating, but definitely being safe, having a happy, healthy Halloween is what we want to promote.
Some good tips there. Thank you very much, Dr. Mehra.
Great to be here.
All right, 6:25 right now. So we've been talking about this all week, and that's Halloween snowstorm came in overnight. Hattie's tracking the latest on that continuing snowfall.
And we are continuing to track your morning commute, taking a look out at the roads today. Not much to see, lots of snow. Christina Laurie is going to have a live report that's coming up when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday, October 31st. Right away, we want to get to our team coverage of the Halloween snowstorm that's going to stick around all day.
Yeah, we start on the roads this morning, and that's where we find Christina Laurie live with the very latest. Christina?
I'll actually take it first for Christina. Let's talk about the weather situation that you're waking up to this morning. You're going to need to plan some extra time to scrape off the car this morning. In fact, just clean off the whole car because everything is covered with snow. So plan those extra minutes right now. It is going to take you longer to get to your destination as well. We've had about 2.5 to 3 inches of snow already overnight here in Madison. And you can see the snow is pretty widespread for our viewing area this morning. Everyone waking up to some snowflakes early today. Now, the good news is that the snow will start to come to an end late this morning into early this afternoon. By the time we get to 1 o'clock, most of the snow done for the area. Take a look at temperatures, though, barely rising above the freezing point today. So the snow that's on the ground is going to stick. And it is going to be a very messy and slick commute this morning. In fact, let's take a look at some of those roads across southern Wisconsin this morning. Haven't noticed any accidents, which is good news. There have been some slide-offs. Not too busy yet on the belt line, but other roads around Dane County are experiencing slow spots. And even as you head south towards Janesville, we're looking at Highway 14 that is pretty slow, especially in between Evansville and Madison. So plan some extra time to get to your destination. Here's a look at some of your drive times across the area. Speeds are near posted, but I think it would be a good idea to slow things down this morning. Better safe than sorry. Let's send it over to Christina, who has a better look at some of the roads this morning.
Good morning, Hattie. You said the snow is going to stick, and we can show you that it definitely has stuck to many of the roads here in Madison. We are heading westbound on University Avenue this morning, and this is what we're seeing. Snow-covered roads. We're in between Midvale and Odana in particular. This area is rough. So this is what we're seeing this morning. Slick, snow-covered, slushy roads. Please leave extra time. According to the Wisconsin DOT, a majority of accidents happen when there's just an inch or two on the roads. Actually, 4 times as many accidents that happen as compared to when there are 2 to 6 inches out on the roads, which is probably what you might not think. That's what we're making such an important emphasis on, the fact that you need to slow down, leave extra time this morning. On top of that, it's one of the first snows here of the season, and I know us Wisconsinites like to think that we're all great at driving in the snow, but it seems like a lot of accidents happen early in the season as well. The city has deployed 32 plows out on the roads, salting and clearing them, so that should help some, but roads like University Avenue are still a mess. Let's take a look at what other roads are looking like in the area. Here's the 511 traffic condition map you're looking at right now. Pink roads are slippery. Blue means that they're snow covered, and there is a growing number of amount of blue snow covered roads. Interstate heading towards Janesville. It's gonna only get worse as more cars get out on the roads this morning, so please leave extra time as well. Josh and Leah, for now, I'll send it back to you.
Christina Laurie, thank you very much. State lawmakers are talking about changing the rules when it comes to drunk driving tickets. Right now, officers can release someone to a, quote, responsible adult after their arrest. A new bill would prevent that. This comes after Kenosha native Jennifer Kilburn talked to News 3 Now about a drunk driver who T-boned her car. That man had been arrested for driving under the influence earlier that night. There is a public hearing on that bill at the state capitol that starts at 1 this afternoon.
Drivers could have to wait until spring to use the Milwaukee Street Bridge in Rock County. Work was supposed to be done this summer, but then this fall, and now the high water level is forcing another delay. The Rock River would have to drop close to another 2 inches for work to continue. The contractor behind the project could face punishments amounting to $2,000 every day the bridge goes behind schedule.
Cab drivers are upset they're not exempt from the newly approved $40 wheel tax here in Madison. Court documents show that state-owned cars, buses, and human service vehicles that transport people who are elderly and disabled are all exempt. Meanwhile, Union Cab hopes the city will consider adding them to the list. They say they're already struggling to pay all the fees required to stay licensed and to keep up with competition from Uber and Lyft.
More jobs could be coming to Wisconsin next year. The parent company of Miller Coors plans to drop Miller from its brand name. Starting January 1st, the company will be known as Molson Coors Beverage Company. The company is getting rid of around 500 jobs as part of its revitalization plan, but all functional support jobs will be moved to Milwaukee. Mayor Tom Barrett says that's a win for his city.
We are a proud home, not only for Miller, but for all brewing in Milwaukee. It's part of our heritage. It's obviously part of our history. It's part of our presence. And with the announcement today from Molson Coors, it is clearly part of our future as well.
The Molson Coors Beverage Company CEO says he sees future growth potential outside the beer market. Wisconsin is in an energy emergency. Governor Evers used an executive order to officially declare it. He wrote in a release that a late corn harvest and sudden cold temperatures caused an increase in demand for propane around the state and in other parts of the Midwest. Hundreds of residents rely on it to heat their homes. The executive order allows for a more efficient delivery of petroleum.
The Department of Natural Resources is reporting a majority of the state's wastewater systems aren't testing for PFAS. The DNR says of the 125 systems, only 2 completed the voluntary sampling that tests for PFAS back in July. Wisconsin Public Radio reports those 2 come from Marinette and Peshtigo.
There's a newly discovered virus that could be threatening bald eagles across our state. WPR reports researchers from UW-Madison have identified that nearly a third of bald eagles have the virus, and it might be related to the fatal Wisconsin River Eagle syndrome that's killing off the birds.
All right, with high temperatures in the upper 30s over the next week or so, we think it's safe to say the cold weather has arrived here in southern Wisconsin, and that means more layers and heavy coats for the kids, which could pose a safety risk while you're driving to school. It can be tempting to keep all of those thick jackets and sweaters on while strapping the family in, but experts warn extra space between a harness and their body could have dangerous consequences.
We know parents love their children and they want to do the very best that they can. Yes, it's an extra step, but you never know when that crash is going to occur. So we have to be prepared every single time we get into the vehicle.
Coming up tonight, we have more tips for families on how to make sure your children are safe in the car this winter. We're going to bring you that story right here on News 3 Now at 10.
6:36 right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we're continuing to follow the ongoing fires in California.
And here's a live look at what your morning commute is looking like on this Halloween. We're going to keep you updated on the conditions as the morning goes on. Our team coverage continues when News 3 Now this morning returns.
In the
6:40 on your Thursday. We're taking a live look outside right now at the Capitol. Looking a little spooky out there for Halloween.
Snow-covered Capitol.
Snow-covered indeed. I think that what I think is fog is actually probably snow coming down, huh?
Yeah, that's just kind of crazy. A little bit more of a trick versus a treat out there today.
Absolutely. We'll get an update on the radar from Miss Hattie McLean coming up a little bit later on.
All right, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and we're going to go back to some fall. How about that?
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. This is the color I want to see out there.
Yeah, Kevin shared this, and he calls this the road less traveled.
Ooh, I will go back down that road anytime, although I imagine it's a bit slippery today.
I was going to say, I'd rather see the leaves than the snow at this point of the year.
Indeed. Thanks so much for sharing, Kevin.
If you've got a photo that you'd like to share, all you have to do is go over to our Facebook page. All right, happy Halloween, everyone. We are all dressed up this morning. You got your...
Some of us went more than others.
Yeah.
We took the easier road here. Miss Hattie McLean, or should we call you Miss Frizzle?
Miss Frizzle right now. Yeah.
Up on the Magic School Bus.
Yeah, for those of
knew he
you
was
that
gonna
don't know, sometimes costumes find you, and I was at a local thrift store, saw this dress, could not refuse, and I could not put that down. Miss Frizzle is from the Magic School Bus show on PBS, and also a book series that my kids loved. She was the teacher, and you always knew what the lesson was going to be for the day based on her dress.
You need to put this into the wardrobe. I love this. This is great. That's a great look.
Well, it has sun, stars, planets. It kind of fits the weather theme.
It does.
Yeah, kind of that scientist. Yeah, I know the Magic School Bus was always one of those that I watched before school as a kid. That and Arthur, those were always the popular picks. But yeah, obviously Lee and I, a little bit more simple. We're just a couple.
Nailed it in today, huh?
Anchors.
Anchors, get it? Wink, wink.
Look at that. Yeah, our producer Jake, he actually made these. Hattie brought some cardboard in, did some cutting.
Did a great job on those
spray
anchors.
painting.
Oh, how impressive.
And I like the pun. You guys are all about the puns, so
Just
it
a couple
works.
of
We try.
anchors.
Keep it simple.
We do like it simple. All right, so we always love seeing the pictures that you send in of all of your costumes, especially for those kiddos.
And this year we're giving you an extra treat, not just these costumes, but these costumes. These are some retro News 3 Now this morning Halloween throwbacks.
Yeah, that was Baby
Josh.
Bop as me.
That's me and Levi.
There
Hattie?
I am at 3. I think I was a clown.
Clown?
I don't remember.
Miss Keely Arthur. Looking adorable, as always. That's our executive producer, James.
Tony Hawk. Then Jake, our 6 o'clock producer, he's Cowboy.
Jake and I both did Cowboys.
And then Ari is Poe, the Teletubby.
Oh, the Teletubbies. So
You're going to
cute.
find a cuter group of kids.
I think Teletubby or that little dino costume, perfect for this evening. Anything that you can just really cover the kids up, bundle them up as much as possible.
Mummy.
Yeah.
Mummy
Extra
look.
layers today.
Yeah.
Send us your pics so we can get all of these up on our website and Facebook page. We'd love to see you all dress up, hopefully with those extra layers as well. All right, still ahead, you're going to want to make sure that you take plenty of time to get to work and school this morning. It has been snowing all night, and that's going to continue for your morning commute. Hattie's in next with how that snow might affect your trick-or-treating plans. That's ahead.
Plus, it is Thursday, October 31st. We want to say a happy Halloween birthday to Jack, Kenzie, Georgie, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning. We hope your birthday isn't too spooky.
Welcome back. We are heading eastbound on the Beltline this morning towards Cottage Grove, where we just got word that Dane County Dispatch is responding to a report of a car in a pond. As you can see, the road conditions out here are slick and slippery. We are heading from Middleton, where we just saw another slide off on the road, so please leave some extra time. 32 plows out on the roads this morning across our area, salting and clearing them, but they have a lot of work to do with snow continuing to fall. Monitoring that is our Hattie McLean. Hattie, when can we expect any of this to stop?
Christina, the snow is going to continue through the rest of the morning. It will diminish, though, as we head towards the afternoon. Let's take a look at that winter weather advisory that's in effect for south central and southeastern Wisconsin. It continues here in Madison until noon today, for the southeastern corner of the state until 3 p.m. So conditions are not expected to improve for another couple of hours. In fact, here's a look at Doppler track, and you can see some of these dark blue shaded colors north and east of Madison. I-94 in between Madison and Milwaukee. The snow coming down at a pretty good rate right now. It does start to let up a little bit to the west, but still snowing in Prairie du Chien and right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Now, additional snow expected through the morning looks like this, anywhere from a couple tenths to almost 2 inches east of Madison. Again, that's on top of what has already fallen. So the snow continues for at least another couple of hours. Snow records are in jeopardy as well. It's pretty early to see this much snow here in Madison. Up until midnight, we have picked up 4.1 inches of snow. Now, the record for the whole month of October here in Madison, 5.2 inches. So if we get another inch or so, we will beat that record for the snowiest October ever here in Madison. What does all of this mean for trick-or-treating? Well, the snow will come to an end by the time you head out the door to trick-or-treat this evening. However, it is going to be very cold and a little bit breezy, especially early on. Temperatures will be below freezing. Wind chills will be even lower, so bundle up. But no snow falling. Note the sky cover here. Skies will actually begin to clear out later on today. Now, we're starting with temperatures in the 20s, so it is below freezing all locations. Roads are slippery with that snow occurring overnight. Wind chill is a factor as well. Feels like it's in the teens this morning, only getting into the mid-20s through the afternoon hours. So bundle up as you head out the door. Your future track forecast model shows you the snow this morning, again, hanging around the Madison area through the commute and for most of southern Wisconsin. By lunchtime today, west of Madison, you should start to dry out. Snow continues, though, east. And then as we head through the afternoon, things start to clear out and dry out as well. High temperatures, though, only 34, which is well below normal for this time of the year. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We are going to keep things cold with that snow on the ground. Temperatures will be in the low 20s tonight. A lot of clouds in the area on Friday. And overall, just a very cold weather trend as we head through next week. Here's a look at our pet walk forecast. You're walking in the snow. Take a look at this one. This is Beauty and the Beast.
Aww.
Love those costumes.
Great. We love that. All right. Thank you very much, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us for the morning sprint.
6:52, time for the morning sprint with live team coverage of the Halloween snowstorm that will impact your morning commute.
We're also following breaking news of a car crash into a pond with snowy conditions out there right now. Let's start with Hattie McLean with the latest on the forecast. Hattie?
Josh and Leah, snow continues to fall across southern Wisconsin. We're not seeing anything let up, even in the western parts of our viewing area just yet. So look for another couple of hours at least with some snow here in Madison. In fact, your snow chances high this morning, staying relatively high through the late morning hours. But then by the time we hit lunchtime, the snow starts to wind down for southern Wisconsin. We will be dry heading into this evening. So here's a look at your Halloween trick-or-treat forecast. It's going to be a cold one, even if there isn't any snow falling. A little breezy early on with a wind chill to factor in. It's likely going to feel like it's in the teens this evening. Bundle up those ghosts and goblins.
As the amount of snow grows, so do the number of crashes and slide-offs out on the roads. Dane County Dispatch confirmed to us just within the past 15 minutes that they are responding to a report of a car in a pond near Cottage Grove. We are headed that direction right now. This is a live look eastbound on the Beltline. Roads slick, slippery. 32 plows are out on the roads this morning, salting and clearing them, but that is not making much of a difference so far, so please be sure to leave some extra time on your drive to work this morning.
Christina, thank you very much. Kids are more than twice as likely to get hit by a car on Halloween. That's according to the National Safety Council. Contributing factors to that statistic are the fact that it gets darker earlier this time of year and many costumes have dark colors. The Madison Police Department's traffic safety experts say drivers should turn on their headlights early to make sure they can see anyone trying to cross the street.
As you get the kids dressed up and ready to head out on this cold and snowy Halloween, we're getting you ready for trick-or-treating later today. Trick-or-treat times vary depending on where you live or where you plan to go, but for the most part, those times are between 4 and 8 tonight. We have a list of the trick-or-treat times for more than 60 communities in our area, and you can find that on the Channel 3000 mobile app.
Cab drivers are upset they're not exempt from the newly approved $40 wheel tax in Madison. Court documents show state-owned cars, buses, and human service vehicles are all exempt. Meanwhile, Union Cab hopes the city will consider adding them to the list.
State lawmakers are talking about changing the rules when it comes to drunk driving tickets. Right now, officers can release someone to a, quote, responsible adult after their arrest. A new bill would prevent that. There's a public hearing on the bill at the state capitol starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
The U.S. confirms breaking news this morning that North Korea has fired at least one projectile towards South Korea's eastern sea. No word yet on what type of missile that was or how far it flew. This launch comes after North Korean leadership says they weren't happy with how slowly nuclear negotiations are going with the U.S.
Breaking news in California, where Pacific Gas and Electric filed 2 reports with the California Public Utility Commission indicating their equipment could be involved in fires in the San Francisco Bay Area. This morning, more than 200,000 customers are still without power. More than 26 million people are under red flag warnings as firefighters continue to try and contain those fires.
The Madison School District wants your help picking out their new superintendent. They're accepting feedback from parents who are sharing what qualities they feel are important for the new district leader to have. A school board member we spoke with says they'll come up with a list from that public input and then interview candidates to see who's the best match.
More jobs could be coming to Wisconsin next year. The parent company of Miller Coors plans to drop Miller from its brand name. Starting January 1st, the company will be known as Molson Coors Beverage Company. The company is getting rid of around 500 jobs, but all functional support jobs will be moved to Milwaukee. The Molson Coors Beverage Company CEO says he sees future growth potential outside the beer market.
For the first time in franchise history, the Washington Nationals are World Series champions. They beat the Houston Astros in Game 7 of the World Series 6-2. They rallied late in that game, scoring all 6 of their runs in the final 3 innings to shock the Houston crowd. The Nationals hit 2 home runs in the 7th to take the lead and never look back.
6:57, falling snow making for a mess of the commute. Here's Jason Stone with the latest. Jason?
The westbound Beltline is jammed up from Stoughton through University. John Nolan is congested from the Beltline to downtown. A crash on the I-94 East ramp to Cottage Grove will slow down motorists, and an accident is blocking both lanes on Highway 51 at Goose Pond Road just east of Arlington. Delays have started there. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason, thank you.
And here's a live look outside from the Edgewater Skycam. Definitely snowing here in Madison. That snow continues through the morning hours. Visibilities are reduced. Some pretty heavy snow right now in the Dells and Lone Rock, as well as north and east of Madison. Our forecast has highs only in the 30s.
From Mrs. Frizzle and your two favorite anchors, happy Halloween. Stay safe today and stay up to date on the latest forecast on channel3000.com.